Indonesia's rise as a vibrant democracy, the regional economic powerhouse, and an increased issues. Arguably, 98 and 99, when he held office as president, following the nationwide protests that led to the end of Suharto's 32-year presidency. Those 570 days saw both an amazing amount of both political and economic reform, but reform that has lasted, has stuck in a truly historic way. During his tenure, President Habibie formed the Development Reform Cabinet to rebuild the nation and lay the foundations for real democracy. His key reforms, among many, he told us, I hope I'm not stealing anything from, that during his 570 days in office, he made 1.3 changes per day. And I told him that he was doing an awful lot better. Perhaps he could come and help with the U.S. Congress. His key reforms included the abolition of restrictions on the formation of labor unions and political parties, the release of political detainees, and the introduction of press freedom. He was also responsible for setting a 2-term limit on the presidency, a much welcomed move after the 2 previous long-term presidencies. And many of these reforms were introduced in the teeth of very substantial domestic opposition and required considerable courage. As a fallen away scientist myself, in my case a biochemist, I'm happy to say that President Habibie was trained as an aeronautical engineer and scientist. He received his doctorate in 1965 from the Technical University of Aachen in West Germany and served as Indonesia's Minister of Research and Technology for 2 decades. President Habibie now acts as an advisor on the democratization of Indonesia, mainly through the think tank that he and his family established in 1999, the Habibie Center, which has become one of Indonesia's leading think tanks. It was established with the belief that the promotion of democracy and the protection of human rights remain fundamental to Indonesia's future. It's not that often that we get to listen to, question someone who has made such lasting change on such a major country, on so many people's lives. And so we are, I think, very grateful, very honored to have you with us, and really look forward to hearing your remarks.
Madam, thank you for your introduction. It is almost impossible and misleading to describe the Indonesian Reformation by just observing and analyzing the happenings of the last 3 decades, without referring to the almost 7 decades of changes that had occurred since the declaration of independence in the I make a remark. The letters are too small. But if I talk free, then it might be too long. That is one of my problems. I started to talk, I cannot stop. Because there's a lot to tell. But I try to read like that, okay? So let me give you some information as a brief overview of my role in the recent Indonesian historical evolution. I call it evolution, not revolution. The historical background. The Indonesian Revolution started 1945 until 1963. It comprises 5 principles that are inseparable and interrelated. First, believe in the divinity of God. So if you are an atheist in Indonesia, you can survive. You can become the richest man of Indonesia, be an atheist, but you can never leave the country. Because you have to swear, believe in God. If you don't believe in God, you cannot do that. And if you are an atheist, you have a lot of money, and you try to make activities which insult people who live with God, then you are against the Pancasila, the Indonesian constitution. Then you get a problem. That's why the Communist Party cannot exist in Indonesia. See? Not that we are against the communists, nothing. But we cannot accept somebody who started to organize, to make activities for people and what do you call it, socialize the idea of the non-existence of God. Okay? Like the United States. I think here you are not a Christian or whatever, but you started, I think every president I learned, if he make a speech, he started, I'll end it with God. So, the second, a just and civilized humanity. Third, the unity of Indonesia. The fourth, democracy guided by the inner wisdom in the unanimity arising out of the deliberation amongst representatives. The fifth, social justice for all the people of Indonesia. These are the 5 basic principles that make a lot of work, research, analysis about that. In Indonesia, Suharto formally introduced Pancasila on the 1st of June 1945 as an ideology comprises between those that wanted to establish an Islamic state and those that wish for a strictly secular state. While Indonesia is the world's largest Muslim majority nation, there are also sizable other religious minorities. This Pancasila, as its national ideology, the Indonesian state attaches great importance to religion while representing religious freedom and pluralism. So as long as you are directly being elected by the people and you believe in God, it is, for me and for any nation, it's not important which way you believe in God, so Buddhism, Hinduism, or Christianity, whatever. But you have to be chosen by the people. That's the most important thing. Suharto was president for 22 years, from 1945 until 1967. And Suharto was president for 31 years, from 1967 to 1998. I was asked to join the government of Indonesia in 1974 to become advisor of the president for advanced technology and aeronautical science, a position that I had held until 1978. That means 4 years I was the advisor of the president. In 1978, I became the Minister of State for Research and Technology until 1998, 20 years, continues. In 19, President Suharto was re-elected by the People Consultative Assembly in March 1998 for another 5 years, and after resigned. And constitutionally, the Vice President had to take over the presidency. Now I want to explain a little, give you a little information about the political mechanism during Suharto's leadership. Every 5 years, an election was held in which two political parties, Partai Demokrasi Indonesia, or PDI, Indonesian Democratic Party, Partai Persatuan Pembangunan, or PPP, United Development Party, and one non-political party or the functional group or Golkar participated in the election. The last election during the 32 years of the Suharto period was in May 1997, when the Golkar won more than 60% votes, while voters' turnout was almost 90%. There are 5 factions at the People Consultative Assembly. 3 through election and a phone call. And told me that given the condition and situation of Indonesia to meet the complex multiple crises, it would be the best if we did not see each other. He asked me to help and bring Indonesia out of the multidimensional crisis. It's a fact. In all big cities in Indonesia, there were continuous demonstrations on the street, and all the media were against the president and this ruling government. I received hourly reports from the National Intelligence. Okay. The intelligence of the Army, Navy, Air Force, Police, Parliament, the People Consultative Assembly, Interior Minister, and Foreign Affairs. None of these reports matched 100%. And the result was chaotic. How could I verify the quality of the report? Who was to be trusted? I had no input or data from President Suharto or his staff. It's a dilemma, this is fact. The situation became worse hourly and unpredictable. The free fall of the Indonesian currency rupiah started. Inflation was over 70%. And interest rate even higher. Foreign currency reserve became minus, and many banks started to collapse, leading to instability and uncertainty. Large-scale unemployment and growing hardship as people's basic needs could not be guaranteed eroded public confidence in the president and the whole political system. With signs of a revolution brewing, people predicted that Habibie would not suffice more than 100 hours. Later they corrected and said more than 100 days. And I survived 570 days. And doing a lot of things. And that's the reason I could make efforts every day, 1.3 new laws every day, because I control. But I have to work very hard. I have to read. sometimes I have no time to sleep. So I have to read it. And it happened to be that my wife is a medical doctor. She was very worried. But I have to foster that the problem, the defender of the problem. I have to go ahead. High quality, objective input was needed to make both fast and high quality decisions. Given my technical background, I was able to analyze the situation comprehensively and in a systematic and objective manner, and rapidly introduce several major reforms measures. I didn't misuse the fact that I was alone and controlling almost everything. I didn't misuse. I make use. I make changes. Why I could do that? Because I was 25 years in the, what do you call it, the power. I saw, but I couldn't do anything. If I protested, then he listened and say, hey, I can follow your ideas. If God wanted that one day you will lead the country, then you make changes according to your ideas. But today, I'm the president. I do this. So I was, okay. At that time, I was not yet vice president. So as a young man, I protested. But if you believe in God, maybe he was watching. I will show you what will happen. And it happened what I told you. And I was lucky that I didn't misuse it. I make use it. Make a lot of changes. You see, it's 3 books in Indonesian. Indonesian and all the cases, all the law. So, I was able to analyze the situation comprehensively in a systematic and objective manner and rapidly introduce several major reform measures. There are among them major decisions I adopted immediately after using the presidency. First, avoid and eliminate existing constraints, introduce a predictability and reliable, fast relaxation process. If I want to explain to you about the relaxation process, it's long. But I'm sure among you are many experts, they know what I mean. And the kind of constraints is high cost. That is the cost of people who suffer, or cost of money, high risk. So you have to do the relaxation. But the relaxation must be so well done that you are not exaggerating. There are certain limits. You are only allowed through the system. So I changed. I could do that because 25 years training and being there every day. Although only the commander-in-chief of the armed forces and police, the political prisoner out. They were faster than the cabinet. The cabinet, I informed the cabinet on Friday, the 22nd of May. Suharto stepped down on Thursday, the 21st. 24 hours later, I announced the cabinet. And after I announced the cabinet, before I say I want to see the Attorney General, State General. And he came in, and he was telling, sir, I'm not a member of the cabinet. You just, no, yes, you are not a member. Okay, why? But why do you call me? I want you immediately to take care, to give the freedom to all political prisoners. The prisoner is only for criminals. So you cannot do that. Why? I use the way Suharto faced all that. Oh, I'm the prisoner. I told you to do that. Okay. But he's done that. He just asked me, is it valid for certain, maybe it's Dr. Srivinam, he's an intellectual from the University of Indonesia, was always protesting, and the other is Papaha, is the leader of the labor union. Is it valid for those as you also valid? It's only not valid who is against the Constitution and has killed people. Or destroy people's houses. Because they are criminals. And then he went out and he had to make a change. And afterwards, he was not doing as he has to do. For me, it's easy. I don't have to consult. I change it. Take another. To become the Attorney General. I can change it because I control 87%. I didn't misuse it, isn't it? And the one, he knows, oh, that guy. He is a small guy, and just smiling, friendly, but the previous, he just changed. Because I have no time. I have to be faster than the development of the problem. Okay? Give autonomy to the provinces. Allow anybody to establish a political party that accepts the Constitution and fulfill all criteria for acceptance to become a political party. Change Golkar into a political party and dissolve the ruling coalition. I was the chairman of the ruling coalition. And 87%, I dissolved it. They say, you're crazy, why do you do that? Look, I'm going to change Indonesia. But not responsible to you, to everybody. That's why I've done my job for the election, the coalition, I dissolved it. And they predicted, oh, it's the best mistake, the big mistake you made. I don't care. And then I changed the Golkar, who is not a political, changed. And then changed the structure. And after that, I make myself not a failure. Because I have to change Indonesia. For the Indonesian people, including the minorities, I act inclusive, not exclusive. Inclusive. I took the best daughter and son of the country. I don't ask which religion you have, which party. No. I followed the track. I said, that's the guy. And I meet them and called them. And they are one united, and they work very hard with me to make the changes. Solve the East Timor problem in conformity with the Constitution. Be inclusive and care for 100% to the people of Indonesia, including those who are not represented in the People Assembly and have not participated in the election. Then announce the new cabinet with the 24 hours. These are the pointers I follow. I don't make a decision. I couldn't consult, Anybody want to know what is that guy doing now? So I don't talk. Even my wife, I don't speak, because if I tell my wife, she will be worried, and then maybe she will be more sick and so on. So at that time, I feel you have so big influence in society of almost 200 million people at that time. And maybe it's good, but checking is better. I trust it. I'll do that check. It's not good, give it back, or to check. It's easy as that, but not effective. So in this style, I was managing my problem. And that's why I made 1.3 new laws and new presidential decrees, altogether 1.3 every day, including Sunday. For more information, please read my 2 books written by myself. It was translated into English and German and Mandarin, Chinese. And there's a book of Decisive Movement. And the book translated in German, Arabic, Chinese, and Japanese is about Habibie and I, about myself and my wife. As my wife passed away, I was almost crazy because I didn't know that my wife has cancer. I was only informed only 2 months before she passed away. And I was married 48 years and 10 days, and son passed away. And after she was in the cemetery of the heroes, like here Arlington, there, where the president of the country was the one who made the ceremony. I was there. Only 1 week after that, we find out that around 10 o'clock I get a depression. And I was walking without shoes in my pyjama, full conscious, crying like a child and looking for life. And they say, hey, that guy who has made so many decisions, so big judgment, I say he must be crazy. So they reported to the medical doctor team, and they say, Habibie is very ill, has psychosomatic malignant because of deep sorrow, a negative synergy among all the organs, kidney, whatever, started. And they predicted he will follow his wife in 3 months. So they come to see me, explain it, and give me 4 options. First option, go into psychiatric clinic for crazy people. Second, stay at home. And the medical doctor team treat me at home. The third, I should tell all my sorrow to the team. And the fourth, I should write. I take the 4th option and wrote with a laptop, not with many ink, but many tears. I wrote it in 2.5 months. After 2 months, I was normal. And then they say, hey, what have you done? I said, and they read, they say, I think you have to publish it. Why? Because this is not your case. This is a case of anybody who loves each other, between mother and child, or father and child, mother and son, or husband and wife, whatever. Friends, they will have that problem we cannot solve. And then we publish, it becomes a bestseller in Indonesian language, and it has been translated in Chinese, Mandarin, and Japanese, in Arab, in German, in English. And they make a movie. Not with me, the movie star. All that, you know. And the movie was watched by, in the theater, by around 4 to 5 million people. But through DVD and YouTube and so on, because it's DVD, it's, according to statistics, over 100 million people have watched that. So you can read that, you can see that. And please read also Democracy Take Off, the B.J. Habibie period, edited by D. Fortuna, Professor D. Fortuna, and Professor Bridge Welsh. This article of 15 scholars from Australia, Canada, Germany, Malaysia, the United States, and Indonesia. Now the question is, where is Indonesia going? How will the future be? First, the values of the Pancasila and Constitution must be developed further, adjusted to the progress of globalization and achievement in science and technology. Second, the quality of information must be immediately updated and speedily. Third, human resources development must get the highest priority by using state-of-the-art education and upbringing system, smart networks, and internet. Fourth, unemployment must be as low as possible, less than 3%, but given priority to domestic product with minimum 70% value-added local content. The middle class needs to become larger and stronger and play an important role in the cultural resilience, quality of the human resources, and economic growth of Indonesia. Sixth, Indonesia has to become an important element of the bridge between ASEAN and the United States, as well as ASEAN and Europe. So this is small, you can get a copy. I asked them to make a copy. You can read it. If you want more, you can contact the Habibie Center here. She is educated here in the United States, so she speaks better. Why do you stand up, Iman? You can contact her, and she's looking forward, to get more information and possibilities of how we could cooperate for the benefit of both of our society and the world. We will, I always say in Indonesia, and that is work very hard and make the world, starting from Indonesia and all our friends, in this case the United States and Indonesia, to change the world, becoming a waiting room or place for the heaven and not for the heaven. So thank you very much.
Raise your hand, and when I do acknowledge you, please wait for the microphone. Give us your name and your affiliation, and then if you could pose a brief question, that would be very much appreciated. Yes, the lady right here. Let's wait for the microphone. You take one question at a time.
Microphone is, oh, sorry.
Yes.
I'm not sure. Oh, sir, having accomplished...
Could you introduce yourself, please, ma'am?
Oh, I'm Mary Ritter, and I'm here because I'm a friend of Jessica's. Anyway, I was a journalist, and I have been in your country frequently as a consequence. I remember how wonderful your days were. Now, why don't you re-seek the presidency.
What?
Why don't you become president again?
Why don't you become president again? Why don't you stand for the presidency again?
You know, I'm 78.
Young.
The risk that I will become in another dimension, like my wife, is bigger. Maybe that's I was young. But, you know, that is first. The second reason is I'm looking forward to advise whoever who is directly being elected through the democratic system becoming the leader of our country. You know? And I think, and I write books now. I'm writing a book, you know, and that is maybe, I know if I have to work again like that, maybe I will not have the time to assist young people. I'm assisting young people. Maybe ada buku yang putih itu ya. Oh. Yang bahasa Indonesia diperlihatkan. You know, if I'm in Indonesia, that question is not only for you, for young people of Indonesia. I was once in a, what do you call it, in a
Public meeting?
television, you know, and there are many people, maybe 500, 600. In metro, it's natural. You can see it in the YouTube now. And they come from Sumatra, from everywhere, from the country. They just want to see me and listen. So there were many questions. One of the questions was, "Sir, make yourself available becoming a president." Now I answered as I answered before, but they were not satisfied. And then I told him, you know, it's difficult for me because I want to be sure I'm not allowed to make any risk. And it's not for me, for the whole society. That means for me, rationally it's better than a young man. Young man could be between older than his man. Why are you only promoting 60? Oh, come on, 40, 60. If you are plus minus 10, yeah, okay. We can talk, but we need your track record. What have you done? How is your vision? How is your ability to implement things, to make changes? Are you willing to make changes? So there I'm going to assist my intellectual children and my intellectual grandchildren. You see? And then they have written me 50 questions. 50. Through internet. And they ask. They call me now in Indonesia, Eyang. Eyang is grandfather. I'm the grandfather of the nation. They told me. You are the grandfather of the children. And said, you are our grandfather. You have millions of intellectual grandchild and child and grandchild. So they came together. After I give a lecture, there are, I'm not exaggerating, between 3,000 and 4,000 people, or young people. And my son, who is 51, Ilham, was accompanying me. He told me, you are like a rock star. Look at that. So, it is, and then I wrote the book. I answered the question, and they asked photos. It just came out 1 week before I left for Indonesia to come here. And it's a bestseller book. It became a bestseller. Many young people, they read. But for me, it's better to write and to give ideas to the people. Because they know that guy has made changes. Look, I came in Indonesia. I get a chance to develop an industry for high-tech. I had my background in Europe, in Germany, you can read it on the internet. And that's given back. They allow me, even I became minister, whatever, to make that changes. But as I became vice president, based on the constitution, I was not allowed to lead the company. So I have to hand over the company which I have developed in almost a quarter of a century. You know how much I give? A company of 48,000 people with a turnover over $10 billion. It's not owned by me. And then with on top I changed, as I told you. So, you see, it's about time that I write, inspire people, give them advice, what to do and what not to do. I think that is better for all of us. I tell you, all of us, including the people here in the United States or Europe, and to do in such a way that you can really change that the world become a waiting to.
My name is Jeremy Aoyong from the Straits Times of Singapore. You think you've given a very good to-do list for the next president of Indonesia. I just wanted to get your sense of between Prabowo and Jokowi. Who do you think will be better at implementing your to-do list? And are you going to publicly support any one of them?
No, I'm not allowed. I'm not willing and allowed. Because it is not educative. Yeah? You know, my English is spoiled by my German. Because my education, my bachelor, master, and PhD, and professor, is all in Germany. I speak fluent, fließend Deutsch. So my English has a German accent. Not an Indonesian accent. So, it's better for all of us, Indonesia, including Singapore, you know, if we will give to the people to elect one, receive one. If it is fair being elected, okay, then we all support that he has to do the work for what he has promised. And if he fails, then we can still sue him. There's a constitution and everything is okay. And so, in this case, it is not wise for me as their grandfather, okay, intellectual grandfather, to say, oh, I'm for you. No, it's wrong. Okay?
All right, let's have the lady right here in front, and I'll come to the back in a second. Let's have one more question from the front here. Please introduce yourself again.
Thank you very much for your remarks. I'm Patty Marcus. I'm Director of Asia Pacific Initiatives. I was fortunate enough to live in Indonesia from 1997 to 2000, working for USAID and very actively involved in the transition to democracy. And having not been there for a long time and been there recently, looking at the changes in the skyline and all of the commerce and everything going on. But certainly corruption, graft, and discrimination against many people is still a very serious issue. So I'm wondering what guidance you might give to the new president, whomever that may be coming in, and just in general, how to deal with these very serious issues that impact moving forward in development.
Yes, please. Corruption and discrimination.
Yeah. First, the democratization process of Indonesia last 16 years. United States has experienced more than 200 years with change. Why should we do it in 10 years? You cannot do it. Or you have to make a revolution. If you make a revolution, it's still a question that you can do it. You will achieve it. What we can do is an accelerated revolution. And there we learn from other people. or attitude, and that is being reflected in the constitution, the laws, in the case. For example, before, by the interpretation of the constitution, let's say this, in the constitution is written that the Bank of Indonesia is committed to help the President of the Republic of Indonesia to build the country. Logic. Okay. The Bank of Indonesia, who print the money, is headed by a governor. It's normal. Now, Suharto, as well as Suharto interpretation was, because you are, based on the Constitution, committed to help me to build the country, and I'm building the country, and I'm elected. So because of that, you become my assistant. If you are my assistant, you are the member of the cabinet. You are under my command. So from Suharto until my time, the governor of the Bank of Indonesia was a member of the cabinet. He sit together with the minister and talk about who face other things. And is responsible to the president. And if the president doesn't match with the interest of the president, I say no. Because he has to help me in what? Creating a high quality of money. For that, it is not the politician who has to do that, what to do. It's not the scholar. And you are not responsible to the politician, in this case the president, to the people assembly. I changed the interpretation of the law. I didn't change the, what you call, constitution, the interpretation. So I say, because of that, the governor of the Bank of Indonesia is not a member of the cabinet. I get protests of scholars, whether PhD in economics, in monetary, and I'm just a normal engineering major. See? And then I told them, come, be quiet, you may sue me later. But before this, I change and make the law. And after me, my successor, whatever, they want to bring it back as the time of Suharto and so on. It's not possible, because the law. And the law is just not from here. Scientific people can study, we have enough people, and we have advisors also from Europe and the United States. It's okay. And now we are having it. See? So, in this case, Indonesia will improve, their, not revolution, the accelerated evolution. They learn from their mistake and the mistake of others. See? And from that, they improve, they make, improve is the right definition. Improve the existing law or regulation. So the corruption in this case, of course we are working very hard. And they're doing a good job. But you have to educate the people. And you could not expect that because you open the door, democracy, and suddenly you say, hey, because you change the door, you have to be like the United States, like Germany, and you went to more than 200 years have changed. It's not fair. So, clear. And in this case, I have to admit, for example, I give you a nice example. I was in Germany. I was interviewed They're my friends. Did you not vote for my friend? I said, oh, Habibie, we have the result of the election. So what? Look, I'm worried. Because the Islamic parties, there are four, they've altogether 1/3. Four. I'm worried. It goes in the wrong direction. Hey, look at your country. You have the CDU, Christliche Democratische Union. You have CSU, Christliche Sozialist Union. It's all Christian. You put them all together, they're almost 42%. And this is 2, and this is 4. And they have less than 33%. Why are you worried, Mr. Dunn? Islam is not identical with terrorism. Why can you accept, in this case, in your country? I said, it's okay. So I want to tell you, we learn a lot from you. That's the best. But we cannot copy. Look at this. Mankind started to think, to use his brain, for 200,000 years ago, as the Homo sapiens started. Okay. The religion, in the Middle East, Abrahamic, in India, and in mainland China, started 5,000 years ago. Not longer. Islam is 1,400 years. Hey, it's nothing against 200,000. At the time that the Homo sapiens was there, if I cut my brain, my hand, and you, it's the same system. Only the shell is different. The system is the same. The intellectual software in your system, your body, is the same as in mine. Okay? The intellectual software first was developed and was in your hardware, come in 200,000 years ago. The oldest is the culture. You decided your behavior. And not to think about technology, to face whoever. And even the belief in God on the way at that time. Just 5,000 years ago, in 3 places, they made, until today they maintain, and they try to answer the question, why is he dead and where is he? Why is he born, where he will come?
3:30. Somebody at the back, because I've been taking the front. Let's take gentlemen, yes, right in the back there. Who's that? Yes. Natalie, yes.
Thank you, Clark. I'm Natalie Sandy from the Australian Strategic Policy Institute and a visiting fellow at the Center for Indo-American Security. You presided over...
Don't speak so fast. My English is not so good. If you speak fast Indonesian, I understand.
You presided over one of the most challenging times in relations between Indonesia and Australia, and you stopped our troops going to war over the annexation of East Timor. What advice and what lessons do you have for leaders of both our countries if we are really going to make this waiting room for heaven?
Is the values. The problem we face in the world are the problem of values. And the root of the values is the synergize of your culture, your belief, your religion or belief, and your ability to think scientifically. See limit. And this values is one of the biggest problems. I have given to, she's like my sister, she's there, Miss Ellen Master. I just visited her at home. She's really like my older sister. I give her a book, which I've written it, Ellen. And if you read the book, it's translated in Chinese in Mandarin. It's difficult, you know. You cannot publish a book and ask them to translate because you need the approval. It is the other way around. They ask me whether they may translate it into Chinese Mandarin. I asked them why. Because it is concerning love. If you read the book, you go into the detail, you find out, starting from your wife, family, friends, and so on. Love to the product, intellectual product, intellectual right, whatever, of the people, including your enemy and your competition. Love to your environment, where you live. Love to your job. If you are a journalist, you love your job. If you are a biologist, you love it. Love to your job. And the fifth, for those who believe in God, love to God is the highest. For those who don't believe in God, love to the evolution and science and technology. It's okay. If you dwell deeper, then you get the answer. How to make changes, to make the world, starting from your own society, a great dream of the heaven.
Mr. Abbott is coming to Washington, and I'm sure you convey that particular message to him. All right, I think President B.J, thank you very much. You spent an hour and a half with us. I'll tell you that this is now the third time that I'm listening to President Habibie in the last 2 days.